Okay, we are live. Good to see everybody. Another live unboxing here on Saturday, December 9th, 2023. It is now 10:02 a.m. Pacific time. We're here in Las Vegas, Nevada. All right, and good to see a lot of you. We have a pretty good turnout already for what we have here today, and that, of course, is the Lenovo ThinkPad Z16 Gen 2. We finally got it into the studio. I've been waiting for this one for quite a while. I also want to see the Z13, but we don't have that one quite yet, or quite just yet, but we're going to hopefully get it soon. But at least we have the 16-inch here, and we have it here live in the studio. So we're going to get it out of the box. We have a fully loaded one here. I want to thank Lenovo for sending it over. Of course, I'm not being paid or sponsored by Lenovo regarding this, and anything you're going to hear today or in the upcoming full review is my own opinion. So there is no copy approval on the part of Lenovo. So whatever I say is my own opinion and not being influenced in any way. I'm just going to give you the raw facts just as I see it. Now, of course, that will be coming soon. So before we get to that, of course, let's get a few of you on here. Good to see William, our moderator and good friend. Good to see, I think you said your name is Pete. So Pete, good to see you that you're not missing this one. All right, nice to have you here. And yes, I haven't seen too many on the Z16 Gen 2. We just got it. I would have done this sooner had I not been in New York. I just attended a press briefing, and good stuff coming, folks. So stay tuned. I'm under embargo, but soon you will get the lowdown on some of the stuff I was able to see and obviously get a first look at. So Gen 2 is unobtainium. Well, it is for sale right now, Keyboard G. Good to see you. Link, by the way, is in the description below. We'll get into the specs, pricing in just a moment. Good to see Welly Yang. All right, been waiting for this. And amazing how technology is going so far. Yeah, I agree, Dylan. Good to see you. And so a lot of video. We have Nessa here from Nessa's Garden of Treasures. Hello, I haven't been here in a while. Yeah, so glad to have you here. Always good to have you, of course. And Chin-Hua Chang, really hoping he gets the model with the discrete GPU. And you're in luck, my friends. We do have the discrete GPU. This is a fully loaded one. All right, so that being said, let's get the specs onto the screen. But before we do that, I do want to thank everybody as the channel has hit the milestone of 150,000. We hit it yesterday. Thank you so much, everybody, for the support over the years. And I just wanted to acknowledge everybody. So couldn't do it without you. And this is a big milestone, I guess. But of course, we have a nice steady growth climb as we continue to reach new heights. So I just want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart. Now, we can take that off and we can bring the specs onto the stream here. So, and I'm going to pause it here because I just want to go over a couple of things here. So the starting price, and we'll get to the pricing in just a moment, but the starting price is $1,588.30. We'll talk about how we have it spec'd out here. This is a 16-inch display. We have the OLED option here. There are a few different options. 3840 by 2400, touch screen, HDR 400, yada, yada, yada. 400 nits. Now, this is a 60 hertz display on this OLED. And then it's running a really good processor. We're looking at the AMD Ryzen 9 7940HS. So that is a good processor I wanted to take a look at, Zen 4. AMD Radeon RX 6550M graphics, 4 gigabytes of GDDR6 video RAM, 64 gigabytes of LPDDR5X RAM, and that's 6400. Now, that is soldered in, so just for those wondering, terabyte of storage, we'll test the speeds on that. 72 watt-hour battery, and I do expect good battery life out of the AMD processors, as we know, very efficient processors, if history has been any indication. And then, of course, Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth, Wi-Fi 6E, I should say, and Bluetooth combo. So that is the initial specs. Let's move it over here. And this is coming in at 2680. At least when I checked it yesterday, might be a little bit more now. I don't know. Prices always fluctuate, so make sure you do hit the link for the latest pricing. That's in the description below. Now, weight-wise, you're looking at 1.81 kilograms or 3.99 pounds. A full HD camera. It's IR. It's got an e-shutter. IR camera, of course, for the Windows Hello login. Fingerprint reader as well. Dual user-facing speakers, Dolby Atmos. Dolby Voice, two mics. Two mics, of course, will help with the sound of the camera. 75% recycled aluminum. It's the Arctic Gray model is what we have. Now, ports are going to be good here. Notable here is the two USB-C 4 ports, 40 gigabits per second for the maximum throughput, and that's good. Full-size SD card is always good to see. We'll talk about that in a moment. Now, like I said earlier, the pricing is going to depend on, of course, which unit you go with. Now, I believe this is what it was yesterday. I don't know if it's exactly this price right now. Again, check out the link in the description below. $2,680.30, but I saw it at $2,900. So again, always check that link because, again, prices do fluctuate. So that is everything in terms of the specs here, although thank you for the 150. I hit the wrong button. Let's get that off of the stream. Good to see everybody here. Half stream, good to see you. Wonder why only 72 watt-hour battery. I think it's the same size as last year, but I believe we're going to get good battery life out of it. I'm not sure what the thinking is as far as, I guess weight is a consideration as among other factors. So that is probably my guess. All right, so let's put it down on here. You know the drill, folks. Let's get this out of the box. Okay, so this is the packaging. Of course, we'll get to this in a moment, but let's first see what charger they give us. Okay, so looks like we have a 135 watt USB Type-C charger as that comes into focus. You can see it's USB Type-C. We like to see that. 135 watts. It does have the discrete GPU. Should be enough juice, though. That shouldn't be a problem. We'll get a weight of all this, travel weight with everything in a moment. You do get your power cord as well. We'll plug that in a moment. But, of course, we get the unit itself. Let's get this open. And I like the fact that we have some bamboo and sugarcane fiber packaging. So nice eco-friendly packaging in this internal box here. And then, of course, you get the unit itself here. And this is that Arctic Gray. Feels good so far. And of course, I'm coming in here. Okay, let's turn that off. So you get some information here, of course, regarding the unit and some maybe useful information. And then, of course, this is some warranty information, yada, yada, yada. Let's put that off to the side there. And here it is. So this is the unit itself, and you can see it here. So that's the bottom of the unit, and we'll collect some fingerprints, but there's the top of the unit. Let me take this off of the table here. And there she is. So this is that Arctic Gray finish. So I like the Arctic Gray because I don't think it's going to be too bad in terms of the fingerprints. You can see there. And then, of course, feels pretty good. Now, I don't know if this is going to have that 3.99 pounds or it's going to be heavier than that, but I would imagine that this is the fully decked out one. Will be a little bit heavier with all the extra features. And, of course, you can open it up with one finger, as you see there. So this is what it looks like. Goes back as far as you see there. So again, I don't think physically too much has changed from Gen 1, but I can tell you this is one of my favorite designs. I think it's an industrial look. I like what this brings to the table, of course, as far as the look and feel. So now, one thing you're going to notice here as well, this has got the haptic touchpad. Now, Sensel is the company that works with Lenovo on this, worked pretty hard. I spoke to the folks over at Sensel, and they're really dedicated engineers and so forth, and they've made some improvements here from Gen 1. And I think what we're seeing now with this is going to be what I would consider, and let me get it over here, high fidelity haptics, according to their press material, palm rejection, and more accuracy over the previous iterations. So Sensel behind the technology here. We'll test it out a little bit. You got the track point here, 2 grills here, keyboard here. Let's give it a listen as far as the keyboard is concerned. Pretty nice feeling keyboard. And then that's what you'd expect with a ThinkPad. And again, a little bit more modern look than we're used to, of course. We saw this with Gen 1 and then, of course, here with Gen 2. And again, we're going to see the 13. There are some changes with the physical attributes of the 13, but right now we have the 16, the Z16 here. You can see here, there's a bit of a notch here, and that, of course, houses the IR camera. It's 1080p. And I think, to me, this is a nice overall package here as far as the aesthetics are concerned. Now, we're going to boot it up in a moment. Let's plug it in, of course. Let me bring this over here. So this is the power charger. And again, 135 watts here. And let me get this up and running here, get it plugged in. We'll do some initial benchmarks here. And so far, I like the aesthetics of it. Okay. Let's see if I can plug it in on this side. Make it a little bit easier. And we'll keep it over here so we can gauge the temperature as things are progressing here. We'll see how warm it gets. So it does look like the light is on here. We'll talk about that in a moment as far as the ports. Let's turn it on. We'll get to the ports in a moment, but I just want to turn it on, get an initial look at that display. And 96 of you watching, do me a favor if you can hit the thumbs up or the like button if you like what you're seeing here. And if you're already not already subscribed, why not subscribe? You might like a few of the things we have upcoming. Again, I took a look at something new back in New York. I just came back from a press briefing, and I can tell you things are looking really good for 2024. All right. So this is the display. Now we're looking at a 16-inch OLED display. Yes, OLED. You know how much I'm a big fan of OLED. 3480 by 2400. That is a 16:10 aspect ratio. It is a 60 hertz display, so for those wondering. There are some other display options. Again, link will be in the description below. But this is a touchscreen. Now, I think there is pen support. I don't know if I have a pen here that works with this. I'm not sure if it is with pen on this one, but again, I don't know what I have here. Yep, it does work. So this pen, I don't know who makes this pen, whatever, generic here, but you can see, I believe it works with the Precision Pen too, so according to the specs, but this definitely does work as far as the pen. So for those that want to have that little bit added feature, you can use a pen with this. So nice to have that little extra feature there. Although, again, not convertible, and it goes as far back as you see here. So it goes back there, which I think is a good viewing angle, right? So you don't get the 180 degrees as we saw with the P16 Gen 6 that we looked at that mobile workstation. But this definitely does enough of an angle here to give you some proper viewing angles. And again, you can notice that it is a glossy display, but gorgeous nonetheless, as I am a big fan of the OLEDs. And again, with the OLED, you're looking at the deep blacks, the vibrant colors, the high contrast, all that jazz when it comes to OLED is here. Now, the downside of OLED is going to be maybe more battery usage or more power usage, and burn-in might be an issue for some. Again, I haven't, really observed any burn-in in a lot of the OLED displays that come through the channel here for a review, but that just may be something to consider as we have 100 of you watching. All right. Now, let me unplug this for a second. We're going to look at the ports here. And I just want to go over them real quick here. So We're going to start off on the left side. You get two Thunderbolt 4 ports that are full function. They support data. Oh, well, here I made my first error, although not technically not too bad. So USB 4, I should say, with the 40 gigabits per second throughput. So full function. That means you can connect Thunderbolt docks. Theoretically, you could connect all sorts of things, eGPUs and so forth. So having USB 4 with full functionality is certainly a plus. Now, there is a full-size SD card reader. I have my pro-grade SD card right there. And let's see if it sticks out. So it does stick out a bit here, as you can see, about a quarter of the way, as you can see there. So I would like to see it flush, but having a 16-inch full-size, on a 16-inch laptop, that it would be good for content creation. Having a full-size SD card reader is certainly a win in my book. So that's that side. And then, of course, on this side, you get your power button with that LED indicator light in it, letting you know it's powered on. A 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. Now, this USB Type-C port is 3.2 Gen 2, but it does support, believe it's full function, but it's not USB 4. So you don't get as much functionality as you do get on the other two from the other side. And then, of course, a Kensington lock port to round out the ports on the unit. So pretty decent port selection, I would say. No HDMI, I just realized that. But again, a little bit more portable than we're used to on this, on a 16-inch laptop as we have here. Now, I'm gonna put it on me for a second. I'm gonna log into my network here so we can get up and running, start doing some initial benchmarks. Again, I haven't updated drivers and so forth, so just keep that in mind. But we'll get a little bit of an idea of what we can expect with this unit. So that is connecting up. We are now connected. So let's bring it back down here, and let me go to the Geekbench, and we'll put it in. Oh, I hate this. Start without my data. Confirm and continue. Blah blah blah. All right. So once we say that, I'm going to put Chrome in at some point. All right. So I want to go to Geekbench.com. All right. So let's download Geekbench 6, and you can see what I'm doing here. So let's download that for Windows. Let's plug it back in, and let's bring up the Lenovo Vantage app. Actually, you know what I'm going to do also? Let me plug this into the USB 4 port here. This is my Thunderbolt dock. I have HDMI connected to that, so we can see what I'm doing here as that loads in. And actually, you can see what I'm doing here. And let's go to the device, and let's go to the power settings. And right now, it's on the intelligent cooling. And as you can see, it's in dark mode right now. It's what it's telling us. To optimize for battery life, and especially with an OLED display. Yeah, thank you, William. Remember, when connected to the power adapter only to USB. That is right. You lose a USB port. And what he's talking about is, see, it's connected there, so you only have these two. But having I wanted to say Thunderbolt, but having USB 4 on these two certainly helps out. Okay, now, so let's go to the settings in Windows. I just want to make sure we're on the right power setting here. Okay. So let's go here. Best performance. Good to see that. All right. So I think we're okay. Let's close that out. And let's open this. Let's get the Geekbench going. And again, I would expect a little bit better score once we get all the drivers. If there's any firmware updates done, then we will get the actual score. Now, again, I'll bring you all that in the full review. All right, while that's loading in, let's say hello. We already said hello to a few people. And yeah, it's not 180 degrees, Drishal, but again, I'm not going to ding them. I like the design here. It's an industrial look. Are you going to weigh this? Yeah, thank you, William, for reminding me. I will weigh it. So let's get the first score going, and then we will weigh that. So we're going to update. Let's do not show again later. And right now, again, 64 gigabytes of RAM. For those wondering, it is soldered in. It's the AMD Ryzen 9 Pro 7940HS. Now, the integrated graphics are the 780M, but it also has the Radeon RX 6550M. So hopefully we'll get a little bit nice performance boost in terms of graphics. Let's run the CPU benchmark first. And so far, that Sensal haptic touchpad that this has been working out pretty good so far. I like this this touchpad here. Again, you can see it here. Sensal are the folks behind the haptics on it. High fidelity haptics, palm rejection, and accuracy are supposedly improved here in Gen 2. And again, that is always welcome, that's for sure. All right, so as we're doing that, we'll get our first score here. And again, we'll weigh everything. Thank you, William. We'll do that next for reminding me as we're still working out the kinks here, right? I've been running on fumes a little bit lately, going to events, going to press briefings, a lot of travel lately. I just got back from New York, so there you go. All right, hoping the big man up north leaves a Z16 under the tree, according to Keyboard G. Well, that would be nice. I'm glad I got one for you guys to check out. Nice and beautiful laptop. I love the black keyboard. I tell you what, Dylan, the design aesthetics here to me are nice. I like this industrial look. I like this industrial look. All right, and thanks, Constantine. Hope you're doing well. Hit the like button, people. So it does have integrated 780M graphics, but it also has the 6650M discrete graphics on this particular model. Again, link in the description below for those that want to configure a model and so forth, and also get the latest pricing. All right, nice and beautiful laptop. You like the black keyboard. I saw that earlier. Now, according to Gerald, the 6550M is disappointing versus a more modern AMD GPU. Be curious to see how much difference there is between it and the integrated 780M. We can probably test that, and I'll talk more about it in the full review. Again, I would call this more of an entry-level discrete GPU. So just temper your expectations, but I think a lot of it's going to do with the physical nature of this, how portable this is, the balance between power and portability. Of course, thermals also plays a role. The battery life plays a role. And exactly what you're going to do with this laptop plays a role. Can you do some 4K video editing? Probably that discrete GPU will help in that regard. Is it going to be ideal? I don't know. We're going to find out. I'm going to run DaVinci Resolve. I'll run some of my standard tests regarding video compilation and so forth. And we'll find out if this is a great laptop for content creators. Now, again, you got to blend here between aesthetics, which is a little bit different than we normally see on a ThinkPad. But I think overall, the look on this is great. But is it functionally going to be great? And the last year, I used it quite a bit as far as Gen 1, and I was very happy with it, to be honest with you. I like the keyboard. There's no numpad, even though it is a 16-inch laptop, no numpad. But according to Pete, the 780M is more than capable for some light gaming. And again, we'll test all that. I'll bring you numbers on some of the gaming, what you can do. Maybe we'll have to adjust some of the settings. But of course, we'll have to all figure that out. Is the Z16 Gen 2 a big upgrade over the Z16 Gen 1, according to Crazy Elf? I don't know. You know, we're going to see the difference in the processor. We're running the Ryzen processor here, the Ryzen 9 7940HS, which is a very capable processor. We're going to see year over year, and I'll show you the differences in the upcoming review as far as, are we seeing a really marked increase, or is it more incremental as far as an increase? You know, physically it looks the same. I know they've made a lot of improvements with this haptic touchpad thanks to the collaboration with Sensal, but we'll see. We'll see. Good to see Mr. Rainbow Loves Coffee. Yes, good to see you. Hope you're doing well. You love it, huh? You like it. So I think what this brings is something a little bit different, where they started last year with Gen 1, gives it a little bit of a different look. So pretty good. So thanks everybody for joining. Right now we have almost 100 of you watching. We have 68 likes. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Why not subscribe? And if you want to help out the channel on a monthly basis, there's memberships, there's 3 tiers. That certainly helps out. Helps me get more product, helps support the channel and continue forward, as we just reached, and I showed this earlier, 150,000. I want to thank everybody for support over the years. It's a big deal, you know, reaching 150,000. So I just want to thank everybody. All right, so we're about to get our score here. Let's bring this up here. And this is what we got. So 11,760, 2152, single core, multi-core 11,760. Let me take a screenshot. And again, just keep in mind, probably you see a little bit, you'll probably see over 12,000, maybe above that. Once everything is settled in, nothing's connected as far as things happening in the background, updates happening in the background. All right, let's do a real test here, quick test, I should say, on the GPU. This is the AMD Radeon RX 6550M. So we'll get a little bit of an idea, and then we'll do the integrated, and we'll see a little bit of a difference there. But I'm not expecting a huge difference, but we'll see. We'll see. Can you do GPU and OpenCL benchmark or both? Yeah, I'm going to do that right now, Driscoll. We'll do the discrete first, and then we'll do the integrated. It would be nice if they had a digital keyboard on laptop instead of a button keyboard. You know, Dylan, we have the Lenovo Yoga Book 9i with that kind of idea, but I don't know if they want to put it in their ThinkPads, to be honest with you. But you never know what could translate into 2024, but I think they're going to go with the traditional keyboard, and it's a good one. I like this keyboard quite a bit. So according to Pete, he would definitely spec this with an iGPU, integrated GPU, only for that nice Linux compatibility. Okay. Not sure if Linux handles the iGPU, but the dedicated GPU or discrete GPU combination nicely. So, that's a good question, right? Whether you want to run Linux on it or not, it might have some compatibility issues. I don't know. So this is what we got on the discrete GPU, 262. Let me take a screenshot of that. Now, let's minimize that. Let's do the integrated 780M graphics. So this will run that same test so we can get a comparison here. Won't take long. What happened to the Z13 Gen 2? So, Anshu, I'm waiting on Lenovo. We just got this one in. Again, I'll bite it. It's late, but I didn't see anybody else have this in yet. I'm sure some of the other reviewers are getting their review units, but I don't know. I haven't seen anybody else have it, but I could be wrong. As far as the Z13, again, there are some physical changes. They're going away from that faux leather cover that they had on it or on the lid. They now have it with a flaxseed cover. Again, this is more sustainable, I guess. I'm not sure what the deal is, but hopefully we'll get one into the studio. Really nice industrial design. I like the aesthetics of it, of course. Now, according to Drishal, he thinks the RX 6650 should work with the Linux. It's only NVIDIA which has issues. Okay, thanks for that clarification. So, according to E, I have had nothing but problems with AMD. Blue screen after blue screen, gave up on them, never had an issue with Intel. Okay, well, unfortunately, that seems like the case. So not a huge difference here, guys. So look at this. So this is the integrated, which are very good graphics, the 780M, 2914, whereas when we got here, 262. So you do get a little bit of a bump, not a huge bump, but definitely helps out a little bit on the graphics part of it. So for those wondering. All right, let me take a screenshot of this. Here we go. All right. So that's the Geekbench test. Let me load in some other tests. But before we do that, we're going to measure this as far as weight is concerned. All right. So let me unplug this for now. And let me close this. Bring out the scale. So just the unit alone. Should have done this earlier, but I forgot. But thanks to William, you reminded me. Let's make sure that's on 0, and let's put it on kilograms for the initial here. All right, so this is just the unit alone. And it's 1.855 kilograms, which is 4 pounds, 1.4 ounces. Now, the starting weight, according to Lenovo, was, I think, 3.99 pounds. This is 4.4 pounds, 1.4 ounces. So, again, it has the discrete GPU that might count for it. Also, the fact that it has the touchscreen, the OLED. Let me unplug this for a second. Now, I'm not going to use the power cord that's plugged in, but we want to get a weight, travel weight, a somewhat of an idea of the travel weight. So with the power cord, 135 watt, this is 2 pounds, 2.261 kilograms, or 4 pounds, 15.8 ounces. So that is the travel weight all in. And I can tell you, not too bad, not too bad. For a 16-inch laptop, that is pretty portable in a sense that you do get a discrete GPU on this. All right. Let's plug this back in. A little bit warm. No, not even warm yet. And again, let me plug this back in. All right, so while we have this connected back up here, let me load in a few of the benchmarks here, and let me go to my drive here from my Thunderbolt dock, and let me load in a few of them here. So let's do this one. And okay, hold on. No, that's not the right one. Okay, now let's put it into the downloads folder. As that's moving in, you can see what I'm doing here. Get some coffee. Pretty good turnout so far. Yeah, I mean, is it nearly double? 40, what did we get? 44 and 29? It's not double. How's that nearly double? 44 and 29, 44 and 30. It's better. It's good. It's not double. Am I wrong? Maybe I'm tired. I went drinking last night, so maybe I'm a little bit hungover. So, okay, so let's go to the downloads. Let's do the real quick Cinebench R23. It's an easy one. It's an older test, but gives it a little bit of an idea. But it's an easy one. It's a quick one. I think it was 2 gigs laptop, 64 around 62 was available for them. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's right. 62.7 was available for the system. Can you pull out the task manager, check RAM utilization? So let's take a look. So 19% right now. We should probably do it when we're running some of the benchmarks. We'll leave that in the background. That's a CPU. Let's see the RAM. So RAM, 4 slots used for 4 dual channel, 64 gigabytes total. Okay. We'll keep this in the background. Let's see. Now that we've done that, let's go to downloads, Cinebench R15. Let's load that in. Pretty snappy so far. Let me accept that. All right, we're going to do the OpenGL first, and then we'll run the CPU test. All right. Can you check the VRAM? Does the iGPU have, if there's also an option to tweak this in the BIOS? I don't know. I think it's 2 gigabytes. I think somebody said it was 2 gigabytes. Hardware reserve 1.3 gigabytes. They answer a question about VRAM for iGPU. Okay. Some good discussions going on here. But make sure to have the latest kernel if you guys are going to run in Linux. One interesting question, is there a muck switch? I don't think there is. We can definitely check. Does anybody know? I don't think it does, but I could be wrong. I don't think I saw it on the system things here. 150, okay. Again, this is more of an entry-level GPU. Let's run the CPU right now. This will be quick. CPU's got 8 cores, 16 threads. The best tech show on YouTube. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. How are you liking the touchpad? I actually like it quite a bit. It's a haptic touchpad. It's really responsive. I'm definitely seeing an improvement, I think, over last year. I'll have to bring out that Gen 1 for my review. It's compare it year over year. Pretty decent scores. Let me take a screenshot. So there you go. That's a Cinebench R15. So we'll save our result here, and then let me go back to the downloads. And let's do the Cinebench R20. That's another quick one that we can take a look at. So for those wondering what Anirban is asking regarding this haptic touchpad, Sensel helped and collaborated really with Lenovo to make this haptic touchpad, and so far very responsive. There are 3 dots there we can probably activate. Remember, I think it was like a control panel, and then of course the lot of good sensitivity, good haptics on it so far, and better high fidelity haptics. It's also got palm rejection improvements here and accuracy. So far, I'm seeing nice improvements. Again, it's early, but so far looking pretty good. Here's your fingerprint scanner for those wondering. And again, it does have an IR camera. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. And so far, very impressed with the design, and the performance is looking pretty decent. Now, again, I'll have to update all the drivers and everything before we get to the final conclusions, but so far, looking pretty good. All right, so let's do the CPU test here on the Cinebench R20. Is the build quality better, improved than the Gen 1? I thought the build quality was very good on the Gen 1, and I think it's more of the same. It's an all-metal design. This is, I believe, 75% aluminum. I don't know what it's all metal. And using, I think, ocean-bound plastics internally in certain places, so it's environmentally friendly. It's very nice as far as the black interior. And as far as the exterior, the Arctic gray is a very attractive industrial look. It's got a little lip here that houses the IR webcam. We'll take a look at that in a little bit, but the overall aesthetics here are really good. As we have over 100 of you watching, that is always nice to see. A nice turnout here for the Z16 Gen 2, and we get a pretty decent score here. Let me take a screenshot. So got a CPU score of 6,426. So I'm liking the performance so far. All right. So that's the Cinebench R20. Now we're going to take a look real quick at the SSD here. And let me load in the Crystal Disk Mark test. And that'll tell us some of the good reads and writes we can hopefully expect on this. Again, that is user upgradable. The RAM is not, for those wondering. So let's load that in. Let me close these windows. And let's run it. It's a 1 terabyte SSD. 8:39 p.m. wherever you are, Ahmed. Nice. Hopefully this 10 a.m. Pacific time accommodates more time zones. We cover Europe, the East Coast of the United States, the West Coast, of course, as I'm in. Are the hinges 180 degrees? No, they are not. So it goes back, as you see, as far as you see here. So not 180 degrees, for those wondering. It is a glossy display, but it is a beautiful OLED display. No muck switch on this laptop. That being said, if it only ever mattered in AMD CPU and NVIDIA GPU combos, if AMD done the integration correctly, then the performance penalty should be 0. That's a good point, actually. And again, this is going to be all AMD on this one. Again, they worked in close collaboration with Lenovo, between Lenovo and AMD, as well as Sensel working on the haptics on the touchpad, and on the touchpad in general. All right, so looks like a good read on that, 6976. So it's Gen 4 at least, minimum Gen 4. That's good as far as the read is concerned. And hopefully we'll get a good write as well. Okay, so while that's doing that. All right. 7:40 in Central Europe. With Pete. I think it's Pete, right? It's a good time. 3 a.m. for reviews. Better than the usual time slot. Yeah, I'm trying to do 10 a.m. because I think it covers the more time zones, covers Europe, which I think that was one thing missing when I was doing it at 5 o'clock p.m. Pacific time, so it was not easy. Again, I keep these up for replay, so it should be okay. We love you from Essen, Germany. All right, Mr. Osi, all right. Keyboard G saying his old ThinkPad P1 has 180-degree hinge, and honestly, I've never needed it. You know, I think the benefit of the 180 degrees is just gives you more options as far as viewing angles. That's at least my opinion. I don't think you need it. I think on this one, I mean, honestly, it goes back pretty far enough, I think, where it's comfortable as far as a viewing angle. And the hinges are on really good. I've seen very little, if any, screen wobble. So that's a benefit of not having the 180 degree and having good hinges, of course. But yeah, it's good. Very good time for Central Europe. All right, I like that, Radovan. I'm glad you're able. Again, I can keep it up for replay for those that want it. And by the way, the replay that I kept up for the P1 Gen 6 is doing fantastic. In fact, it's got like a new life on it. We're about to hit 10,000 on replays, so that's pretty good. So a lot of interest in that. Again, there was no X1 Extreme this year, so we're looking at the P1 Gen 6, and I'm just finishing that review. So for those wondering when that full review is coming, that's coming this week, early this week. So stay tuned. I'll finish that up probably today. So stay tuned. So far, looking pretty decent in terms of these reads and writes of the SSD. Okay. As that will finish up. So this is pretty interesting. Nicholas is saying, and let me bring it onto the stream here. Last year, people reported that they had lost all their data in the SSD with the Z16 Gen 1. If I remember, it was a design problem with high load. Has Lenovo fixed this problem with Gen 2? That's pretty interesting. I didn't hear that. Maybe I missed that, but that would be very concerning, I would think. So hopefully, if Lenovo's watching, they've addressed that issue, if that was a mass problem or a common problem, and hopefully it's been addressed here in Gen 2. I would imagine if something that serious and it's come to their attention, hopefully. You really like the coming up. All right, I'm glad you do. Coming up. So I must have missed this, but thank you. There was a question earlier asked. Curious if, like Gen 1, it still raises the annoying insufficient power option on boot that requires you to clear it with escape. I haven't noticed anything. Again, we just took it out of the box, but that's something to keep our eye on. Okay. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm good, True Army. Okay. And here we have our score. So very good reads and writes. So this is what we would expect on a Gen 4 SSD. And again, you can open this up. You can replace that SSD. The RAM is not. This is 64 gigabytes of onboard RAM. All right. So far, that's pretty interesting. We'll keep our eye on the utilization here. All right. So let's do this next. Let's do the camera. All right. So let me load in the camera here. Now, I don't know if there's any of the AI features or the studio effects. I'm not sure. I think there might be because I see the little studio effects. Yep, there it's there. So let's bring this over here. So this is 1080p. Let me go to the settings here. And right now the video quality is on 360p. Why that's on video quality 360p? What's the deal on that? We know that's not the case. 480p. This is a 1080p camera. And I can tell you, it looks pretty good. I'm not sure if that's a little bug or actually it's not even the right aspect ratio. Interesting. Let me close this and let's go to the Lenovo Vantage. Interesting. I'm not sure what's maybe needs an update. This is definitely a 1080p camera. I can tell you that right off the bat. So let's go to the display and camera here. Yeah. So this looks. Let me see what's the deal here. So reset, contrast, auto exposure. I mean, it looks pretty good. Let me take off this. Hold on. There we go. But why would it say 480p? So I don't know if I need to maybe restart. Let's reset it. Okay. So let's close that. Let's go back to the camera. It's interesting. Not sure what the deal is, folks. Yeah, 480p. I'm just looking around to see what's going on here. This doesn't seem right. This can't be. I don't know if we need to restart it. Let's, I mean, it's even the wrong aspect ratio. Camera looks good. Yeah, but it's not showing. It's a bug. I'm convinced it requires a driver update. Yeah, I'm sure it's something. You know what? Let's restart it. But before we do that, let's take a look at the auto framing. Does that work? Not even sure if that's working. Oh, yeah, it is working. Hold on. And then has the eye contact and the blur. Blur is working good. I mean, it looks like it. You could do the standard blur or you could do the portrait. Looks like a little bug, though, on the video resolution. So what I'm going to do is restart it. I'm thinking maybe that will help. Let's put it on me for a moment. So let me restart this. I'm just curious. It could be a bug. Remember that for video capture, it still be 1080p. Yeah, it is 1080p, but it shouldn't show 480p as the highest resolution in the settings. So I'm not sure if it's a bug. Let's restart it. Maybe there's an update that we have to run. Again, happening live. So let's see how, and if it's an issue, I'll let Lenovo know. If you're watching Lenovo, let's figure this out. But I guess it could be a driver update needed. Again, it's going to restart now. So we'll see. Slow response on automatic framing. I think there must be an update. It has to be an update. What monitor? I got a Dell monitor and a Lenovo monitor. I don't know the Lenovo, but the Dell is a pretty good ultra sharp one. We'll talk more about that if we have some time. All right, so this is loading back up. And let's see here. Let me go to the camera. This is kind of weird, right? Again, it has to be something going on here. So I'll find out. It's still showing 480p as the maximum resolution. We know that's not the case. So we know that's not the case. Pretty interesting. All right, so we'll figure this out. Even at 480p, it's pretty decent, but that's not correct. This must be some kind of driver issue, or there must be some update. Well, I'll figure it out. I'm not worried at all. But again, I'll reach out to Lenovo, find out what's going on. All right, let's move on. We'll move on from that for now. And again, there is a camera shutter switch on the keyboard, I believe. There is a shutter switch here somewhere. Is it on the? I don't think it's on the. I think it's. Yeah, here it is. So if you look at the keyboard right there, that's the camera shutter right there, and it lights up when it's engaged. Okay, all right. So that's the camera, and we'll get some answers hopefully very soon. We'll figure that out. All right. So that being said, let's get some thermals going. We'll do the Cinebench R23, and we'll test out the noise level as far as the fan noise. So let me go to my my drive here, and let me load in Cinebench R23. So let me unzip that one. All right. So that's loading in, and we can try out some more apps later. But good turnout. Again, hit the thumbs up. We have 97 of you who have hit the like button. Let's get over 100. 96 of you watching. So I do appreciate it. And for those joining us late, I wanted to say thank you once again to those who are supporting the channel over the years. As we hit 150,000 subscribers, we hit over 38 million views so far, and we are continuing to grow. And I want to thank everybody again. Just wanted to point that out for those joining us late. All right, so let me go to the downloads here, and here we go. And Cinebench R23. Now I'm moving everything over to R24 here as I'm building up the database. So I'm going to be doing it. Why is that error there? So we got some issues going on here, folks. All right. Let's see. It's not as smooth as I'd like. Let's see. There we go. Now it's working. I don't know. Again, I think there's driver issues going on here, but we'll see. All right. So we're going to do Cinebench R23. Let's go to the settings here. And I'm going to put on let's do a custom 5-minute test. How about that? Give it a little bit of an idea what's going on. And then we can go here. Let's do the CPU first. Multi-core. All right, so while that's doing that, I'm going to get my thermal imaging camera ready, and we're going to see how hot it's going to get. Again, initial run here. I'll do more thorough testing, of course, in the upcoming review. Yeah, that goes on when camera is being used. I'm not sure. Maybe try out a third-party camera app. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that because it shouldn't be 480p video. There's no question about that. Oops, sorry. Hold on. I dropped my camera here. Hold on. Got it. Okay, let's load this in. Okay, so we got my thermal imaging camera here. It's been running for a while, so let's just get it going with this right here, and then I will do the underside. So far, what I'm observing here, where it's dissipating into the back here out of the vent below the display above the keyboard, it's about 48 to 50, no, less than 50, 47, 48 as far as the thermal readings so far. And there's one here, one there, where it looks like the most heat is coming from. So that's dissipating the heat. Keyboard area is very cool. So if you're going to be typing where you place your fingers on the touchpad on the keyboard, it's remained cool. Let me go to the side here. Okay, so the sides are pretty good. Let me go to this side, just to make sure. Oops, lost the camera there. Hold on. It's a little wonky lately, this FLIR camera. While that's loading back in, okay. Yeah, I would say where it's dissipating the heat below the display above the keyboard, 48, 49 the most. All right, so let me put this down for a second. And let's bring this like this. Let me get the underside. So you can see where the two fans are. So the hottest point is right here, about 47, 48 degrees Celsius. Not bad at all. So it's remaining relatively cool. And then that's been a hallmark of the efficiency of an AMD processor. So good, pretty good thermals here is what the takeaway is so far as surface temperatures. And as far as this, not warm at all. Maybe a little lukewarm, but that's about it. All right, so let me turn that off, and then let's get a measurement of the decibel level as far as the fan noise. They're both going right now. We'll get to your comments and questions in a moment. Let me get this set up. All right, so we got 57, 56, 57 decibels, which is definitely noticeable on the performance mode under load. So definitely notice that fan noise. We'll have to test it in the balance mode, of course. We'll see how all that goes. Forgot to turn off the presence detection and all that stuff. I think this has. All right, so let's get this first score going here. Should be coming in any moment. As we have 97 of you watching, 104 likes, so hit that like button. And do me a favor, if you're not already subscribed, why not subscribe? And if you want to help out the channel, super chats, memberships, super stickers, yada, 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 you know the deal. Is 400 nit display okay for a laptop? Yeah, I think you'll be fine. This is a 400 nit display. OLED, of course, is very sharp. Pretty good score here, folks. 16,206, so that's a pretty nice score, multi-core score. I'm going to save the single core for the full review. I don't want to be here all day. Pretty racket there. Okay, I'm not sure what you mean, racket. Is it my jacket or the racket? This is my jacket. All right, 400 nits is fine. I think it is fine. It's if you prefer work without sunlight shining behind. Again, in direct sunlight, it is glossy, but I think it's bright enough, certainly for indoor use, and depend on your lighting conditions, right? So that's the key. That's the key. All right, let me take a screenshot of this. All right, so the next thing we can probably do here, I can open it up, but I think I'm going to open it up in the full review. What I want to do is the sound test. I can tell you right now, the RAM is soldered in, and the SSD is upgradable. I'll show you the internals. I don't think we need to do that now. All right, so let me load in. Let me put it on me for a second. Let me go to my Epidemic Sound account here. So far, and I can tell you this right off the bat, this keyboard's feeling really good. And I'm liking the haptics on this touchpad. Again, Sensel worked very closely. I spoke to the people over at Sensel. I worked and I spoke with them at length a few months back when they were working on this. And they told me, they said this is going to be an improved product here as far as that touchpad. So far, they weren't kidding. It's a lot better than last year's. So far, I'm really liking it. Let me log in there. This is, my internet's a little acting up here. We may not be able to do it right now. Yeah, it's not letting me log in. I'm not sure what's going on. So let's just go to one of my videos so we don't have to worry about that. Not sure. I'll play with that later, see what's going on. So let me go to my, just to get an idea of the sound. So here's my P16. Okay, we can put it on here. So let me play. I logged into my account, but that was the P16. Actually, you know what? I don't want to do the P16. Let's do the ZBook Fury. Okay, let me unplug this. Now, you know, I reviewed my share of mobile workstations here on... Now, you know, I reviewed my share of mobile workstations here on this channel over the years, and I'm a big fan of the category because they bring a great CPU, GPU combination in a somewhat portable package, but really what it is good for is those ISV certified applications that need that kind of graphics horsepower, that need that CPU power as well. So I received one a few weeks ago here into the studio for review from HP. It's the ZBook Fury 16 G10 here for 2023. And the Fury is no accident as far as the name. and where the companies that are looking at this will not blink at the price. They will not think twice. As long as you can get the job done, probably one project or two projects will pay for it in spades. So just Bang & Olufsen tuned here. And yeah, I'm having trouble with my account. I'm not sure what's going on with Epidemic Sound, but I'll test it. Don't worry, I'm going to test it. I have a lifetime. It should be a lifetime thing they gave me, but I don't know what's going on. But we'll figure that out. All right. Now here's a lot of glare. We got a lot of studio lights also. Just keep that in mind. All right, so far the speakers are pretty full. I think they sound pretty good, and they're Dolby Atmos. Let me see what setting that was on. Let me see here. So they have the Dolby Access app, and I think it's on music is usually so if I put it on dynamic, it's probably going to do. So let me go. Is there royalty-free music I think I can play? Let me see if I go here. I don't want to get demonetized. I really don't. No copyright music. I'm always afraid to do it one of these, because I don't trust them. I'm going to have to hold off on the sound test, at least to the full review, till I figure out what's going on with Epidemic Sound. All right. So here's the deal, folks. So far, so good. We are now, let's see. How long have we been going? Over an hour. I think we're going to, maybe it's a short lifetime. Yeah, maybe. I've been promoting them. I don't know why they would cut me off like that. I don't know if they cut me off. I don't know. I'm joking. But I think I'm on the wrong microphone, of course. There we go. That's better. Okay. You could play back LG OLED black video. Maybe that's not a bad idea. Again, I don't want to get demonetized. I don't want to play. I'm not going to play around. I'd rather have a full review with the proper royalty-free, copyright-free stuff that I don't want to have to worry about any demonetization. All right. But I can tell you, so far, it's pretty good with my videos. Let me see what would happen. I don't know. I'm just LG OLED black. I'm probably going to regret this. Okay, I'm going to stop it there. All right, I don't want to take any chances. All right, sounds good to me. Sounds good. All right, people, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you for the moderators doing such a great job. Great turnout. Great little laptop here. Not so little, but great nonetheless. You really should check out the full review. That's coming. Arctic Gray, haptic touchpads from Sensel, working really good. Love the aesthetics, love the industrial look. I'm going to see everybody next time. Got a lot of reviews coming up. I have my full review of that P1 Gen 6 coming this week, as well as more on this. Of course, full review on the way. So till next time, people, see you in the next video. Have a great rest of your weekend. See you next time. Bye-bye.